Good morning and welcome. Pitch Radio News Hour. Joe and Jason on this Tuesday. Happy St. Patty's Day for those of you Irish out there. You know what? Green's just not a color that's in my wheelhouse. I don't know that I really own. Well, I guess maybe some Christmas stuff, maybe. But yeah, I don't have any green. If I did, I would award it. Why not? I'll be an honorary Irish guy. There's worse things in life, and it's March Madness. My buddies and I, we do an annual. It's a Calcutta. We got one of those guys. Every friend group needs to have that guy. You know, the one that keeps track of everything, and our what we do is we put all the teams that are in the field, and we cut these little strips. You got to have the team, the region, the seed, the team, and they all go into a hat, and it's just you pick out of a hat. Everybody starts with $50, and you bid how much money you want on that team. And we do, the higher the seed, we do if they, let's just say a 10 seed wins round one, you get 10 points. Where if a 1 seed wins round one, you only get 1, right? So it's not necessarily picking the teams you think are going to win. It's more trying to pick a high seed that you think is going to win, 2, 3, 4 games. That's how you win. I won it last year, so I am the reigning, defending March Madness champion. We'll see. I don't know. I didn't feel very good about it this year. My strategy, maybe the problem was I didn't have one. And, my $50 didn't go as far as I was hoping. So we'll see what happens. But, a lot going on to try to distract. Of course, it's war. Oil. The Fed started their meeting. Listen, we're going to have the Fed meeting tomorrow. We're not going to raise rates meeting tomorrow. And then we're down to only one more meeting with Jay Powell. So this is going to be the second to last time we see him. And I'm assuming they're not going to raise rates or lower rates. Honestly, you could make a case for both, right? I mean, inflation's gotten worse, and this is before the oil stuff is hit. Then you have the jobs that got worse, right? If remember the government jobs number, negative 92,000. The unemployment rate went up. I think everyone's going to be looking for, are they still expecting to cut rates later this year? And I'm going to tell you right now, just between you and I, it really doesn't matter what they say. They're cutting rates later this year. The second Kevin Warsh is in, they will start cutting these rates. But yesterday we had a reprieve in oil prices. Today, a little less. It's not horrible, $94 right now. Of course, Brent crude just stretching out here. Now, 101. We got about a $7 spread between NYMEX and Brent. But I'm watching unleaded gas and diesel. Holy smokes, diesel. Wow. Unleaded gas up another 7 cents today, squarely now above $3. I did see diesel here in Arizona over $5. But diesel everywhere is hitting the highest price in diesel going back to 2022. I remember that was I think that was near the start of the Russian-Ukraine war. They're saying national average diesel up 34%, the largest increase for any month on record. Gasoline, it was a little better, 25%. That was also the largest increase for a single month since they've been keeping records. So, Jason, energy prices are going to really dictate, and I'm sure the Fed is going to, Who knows? Maybe they'll bust out transitory again when they talk about pricing.
Yeah, well, right. Yeah, that was what they said about inflation, right? Transitory, and we're getting another round of transitory, I suppose. I mean, it kind of went up, it kind of stayed up, didn't it? So maybe transitory just means we're transitioning into a more expensive society, and if that's what if they decide to use it that way, then hooray, here we are, right? And they got their oil prices up. It's, Joe, I don't know about you. I mean, is the $200 oil thing going to happen, or are they going to be nice and comfortable with their $90 oil, which is right where they probably need it? I mean, it's all. I think it's all going according to plan. We'll just see. Cause I don't think 200 is what anyone wants, but I guess we'll see what the war produces for us.
Well, and remember, right? So we got a couple of things that we got to keep an eye on. So how is the traffic in the Strait of Hormuz? Pretty much non-existent. The only thing going through are Iranian oil, and then maybe a ship here or a ship there that Iran said, hey, you can go, right? Tends to be Chinese, Indian. Remember yesterday it was a Pakistani ship. But these are single ships, right? These aren't, right, hundreds of them. But remember, Memorial Day, we always see, right, what we call the vacation spike in gas. That's just around the corner as well. We'll be back after the break. 800-951-0592. So, yeah, I'll say this. It better happen soon. That's kind of what everybody is crossing their fingers for. Obviously, no movement on help.
The news is so ridiculous. I mean, I'm looking through headlines. Tell me if this makes any sense at all. No matter if you're pro-war against Iran or anti-war against Iran, no matter what your stance is, this is a CNBC headline. The U.S. allows Iranian oil tankers through the Strait of Hormuz. That's the headline. Does anyone believe that? There's so many things wrong about that whole thing. If we're waging a war against Iran, then why would we, if we were controlling the Strait of Hormuz, why would we let Iranian oil tankers through? And on the other side, it's if Iran is controlling the strait and not letting ships through, then it's wacky, Joe. We are getting complete flagrant lies from the news. Trying to navigate this.
I mean, let's just understand what that really meant.
It's a lie.
We can't blow up the Iranian oil. If we blow that, if we start blowing up Iranian ships, or we blow up the oil that's on that island that we talked about, right, then we will have $200 a barrel oil. So the United States is they're damned if they do, damned if they don't, sort of a thing.
But the assumption of U.S. Giving permission for that to happen is laughable on so many levels.
Yes,
right?
Yes. They just don't want to say, right, let's face it, they just don't want to say, well, gosh, you know what, guys, we kind of screwed up, and we have to let the ships go through. That headline sounds so much better, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Hey, we're letting them. See, we're just letting them do it.
The whole control mechanism of that statement that that the United States is definitely in control, and we're going to allow this to happen. Which I think, Joe, what you said is right, but I think the idea is, well, if we knock their ship out in the Strait of Hormuz, they're going to knock another one of ours out. So we have to allow this to happen, or they're just dictating terms. But it's just, Joe, it's like you can't. Everything that is being fed to us is you have to have a skeptic's eye on everything being sent to you. One of the reasons I like about gold and silver, that this is what I do. is there's nothing. You don't have to speculate. You don't have to be skeptical. You have an ounce in your hand, or you don't have an ounce in your hand, right, Joe? I mean, that's the way it is. You either have an ounce or a roll of silver in your hand, or you don't. You either have whatever your stack is stashed away, or you don't. There is no Joe and Jason's not going to allow you to buy gold today. There's nothing like that's ever going to happen, right, Joe? You are in control of the savings you put together with your gold and silver. So, I mean, good luck trying to figure out what's going on with geopolitics. Joe, it's meant to spread fear, right?
Yeah, and I'll say this: they're doing a good job of it. It's really kind of turned the markets inside out as far as what's going to happen next. Is oil going to all of a sudden blow up, or is it? Obviously, like I said, the best case scenario, we just call it good, right? Mission accomplished, and everybody come home. But we're talking about the largest increase in gas and diesel prices in a single month ever. Well, at least since they've been keeping the record. Then we got pending home sales today. This was another one that really disappointed. It's a little older. So remember, we had in February. God, you think about it. February, I mean, that wasn't that long ago. It's only the middle of March. But remember, we had that 10-year note. Mortgage rates fell to like the lowest level in, I forget when, but a while. Right? They had a 30-year fixed rate mortgage, I think, got to 6%, maybe even, you could have bought it down into the 5s. Didn't help pending home sales. They're year over year now down 0.6%. Month over month was down 1%, or was that 10%? Jeez. We're literally sitting at all-time record lows when it comes to pending home sales. So that's another one, right? When we think about what the Fed's supposed to do here, really in this stagflation box, Jason, right? Everything's expensive. Can't cut rates. Can't raise rates. And really almost powerless to do anything other than spend more money. And that's really, unfortunately, by spending more money, you make the inflation worse.
That's right. There's going to be a whole lot of spending going on, too. So get ready, because the money is the spigot's open, and no telling what 2026, because this is an emergency now, right, Joe? So there's got to be emergency spending probably coming here really soon, I'm guessing. So we'll just pile some more spending.
I think that's probably what we'll see if this is going on again. If we roll into next week with no end in sight, you can't hide. Right now, I think the best math I've seen on this is like 14 million barrels a day gone. You can't hide that very long. And I think that everybody's kind of like, boy, before we throw oil to $125 to $150, let's see if we can get a better outcome. But I think we're going to see it, at least right now. I have no reason. There's nothing to tell me that we won't. But, Jason, I think that will be followed up with a lot of spending. They're going to figure out a way to say, we're going to send everyone a check, right, to help you pay for your gas. I can definitely see something like that coming.
Yeah. Well, I mean, there was already slated to have $4.7 trillion new money being pumped in this year. So any emergency financial relief or whatever you call it, whatever thing they're going to pass to spend more money will just pile onto that. This is the kind of spending that's more than the initial spending for the COVID crisis. It's even like triple the amount of money from the original spending for the housing bailout, right? Now, they spent more on the back end of COVID. They spent more on the back end of the housing bailout, which we found out later. But this one's starting off this big, Joe. So, I mean, the reason gold and silver took off the last 2 years for gold and the last not even a year for silver is anticipating. It's leading indication of the inflation that's coming. So gold and silver takes off again. We get 6,000 gold and we get, $125, $150 silver. And watch out. Watch out. That means the inflation we're looking at, we got years of pain. And we'll see when it comes. I have a feeling it's later this year. We probably won't actually see the real bad inflation until we get to the end of this year. How about Christmas? How about that? Massive inflation for Christmas. How about that?
I really worry that I'm hoping by Christmas this is all said and done and we get maybe a little relief from inflation. I worry that we're going to see a very inflated summer. This will be, and it's a twofold problem. I hate to say it, but I got to bring it up to you guys. They do Social Security COLA adjustments in the summer. Why? It's usually when inflation's the lowest. With this, I saw a thing now where they're saying this thing may not be over till September.
It just depends on how fast it gets there. I mean,
yeah,
the COVID shutdowns were March and April 2020. We didn't really see that inflation till a year later, Joe. So what is the time frame? Right, this war and the Venezuelan war, that's the beginning, which is called the beginning of 2026. If it takes a year, that'd be the end of this year. But, Joe, if you're right, that means elevated and also quicker inflation than the last time we saw elevated. So, is it 12 months or is it 6 months, right, Joe? When are we? And it's coming.
And I worry that we're going. And why do I bring? Well, Joe, what's the problem with that? That'll deplete. In other words, right now they're only planning on giving you somewhere around 2.7% in COLA adjustments. That's the numbers penciled in. If they've got to come out and give 5, 6, 7%, right? All of a sudden, that Social Security runs out of money even faster than what they had planned. So it's going to be, it's kind of hard to be like, wait a minute, we got to worry about Social Security during war? Yeah. You're talking about an increase. That could take a whole year off the trust fund. Right now they're saying it's going to be empty fiscal year 2032, which is really for us 2031. Jason, that could bring it to 2030. Heck, it could bring it to 2029.
Yeah, well, that's the whole thing. I mean, if you look at the inflation of the 70s, when it got started, it was up and down for a good 8 years, maybe a little less.
People don't know that. They don't know in their history. Inflation in the 70s was a roller coaster. It really was. There was lots of highs. There was lots of lows. And I obviously we're looking at another high coming, right? We had a high during Biden. We had some lows. Now we got another high coming, and this is kind of how inflation worked in the 70s as well, because, you can't plan for different events, right? The 70s, you had the oil embargo, right? You had Vietnam, right? You had those things that you couldn't plan for. Now here's one of the things, right? We had COVID, right? Then we had now we've got the whole Mideast war breaking out, right? These are the similar things, Jason, but the effects are still the same. A lot of money printing, It's not like we didn't have these events in other times. You can't have those events and money printing all at the same time. And now, unfortunately, all we do is print money. So when these events come, it just makes it that much worse.
Yep. Well, and one of the goals is to get people or nation states to keep using dollars, right, Joe? A large part of what's going on here is about how many dollars can be pushed into the world economy. That's been sort of flat lately, right, Joe? So let's see how dollars are working. Now, you've been watching the the interest rates. It's been interesting how it's been moving around.
Yeah, I mean, looking at the 10-year note, still 4.20 right now, so a little bit lower. And again, we're waiting for tomorrow, so we'll see how that plays out. By the way, speaking of Social Security, Medicare just released. Expect Medicare premiums to double over the next 9 years. Well, let's call it 10. Make math easier.
Yes, ma'am.
800-951-0592. Patriot Radio News Hour. And again, I know the war is taking all the air out of the room, but there's a lot going on underneath the surface today. Morgan Stanley talking about a significant private credit shakeout on par with COVID losses. Wow. Is coming, and it's coming soon. On top of that, the Citadel has now covered their treasury shorts. They were thinking yields were going to be considerably lower, saying that markets need safe passage of international ships through the Strait of Hormuz, and they need it soon. Financial conditions are going to have to shift focus from inflation to growth risk. Uh-oh. Geez, what do you call that? Oh, yeah, stagflation. I think that's what you call that, right? No growth, and yet things are still more expensive. There is scope for global front-end rates to rally. What are they talking about? Well, they're talking about the yield curve, right? The low end could become more expensive. The high end continue to become more expensive. Australia today actually raised rates. I don't expect anybody else to, but their core conviction, inflation risk are skewed to the upside, and that was before the war in Iran broke out. And guys, again, liquidity, and the lack of liquidity can make for some very violent moves. And I keep warning you, and I've been telling you, listen, Wall Street has been very well behaved. It has. Very well behaved. The problem is every day the risk gets greater. Right? It would be great, gosh, if, hey, this thing could go, April, May, it'll be fine. No. Literally, everybody is saying these ships better start going through that strait by the end of the week, or we're going to have a problem. But here's the great news. Remember, part of, think about it. What stopped the gold and silver rally? Right? It's been this war. Why? Because we've gotten rates skyrocketing upwards. This will not last. And I said it yesterday. I'll say it again. Gold and silver are on sale, and I'm going to help you today. U.S. Silver Eagles. I'll be honest, I did not think we would see this price again after gold or silver bottomed earlier this year. Rolls of U.S. Silver Eagles, 17 $17.95. And I want people to know that was the same price. I looked it up. It was the same price when gold was at its spot. When gold was sitting, that $70 mark, we were at, one day we did $17.95 for rolls of U.S. Silver Eagles. Now we're talking about silver at $80, 79 and change. And I got the same price. Premiums have come down. They've come in. At one point, we were talking about premiums about $11 over spot. They've come in. Jason, what a great opportunity to be able to buy. Let's face it, when it comes to silver, the Cadillac in the U.S. is always U.S. Silver Eagles, 21 ounce, right in their mint tubes. $17.95. And I actually looked. Has anybody lowered their silver forecast? Right? Because I've been telling you $150 before the end of the year. Nobody has. Nobody. You know why? Because they're all doing the same thing. Loading up, knowing this is kind of an anomaly. This has more to do with things not related to silver. As soon as we go back and start focusing back on silver inventories, we're going to see silver explode again. Right now, I really simply, Jason, I'd be backing up the truck here. If you're a silver buyer, today's a great day to do it. We're going to help you out. We're taking $20 a roll. We're knocking another $1 an ounce off. $17.95 for U.S. Silver Eagle rolls at 800-951-0592. The Dow starting to lose steam here as oil prices creeping back up again. So NYMEX now over $95. Brent's over $102. Unleaded gas just hit $3.10 wholesale. So that's another 9 cents. I really think Arizona, get ready. We're probably going to see gas with not diesel, gas with a 5 in front of it here in the next week.
You think that soon?
Yeah. Well, just by how fast it seems like wholesale gas goes on, they just change it, right? They just change the price. I think in the cheaper states, it'll be in the 4s, because right now I think some of the cheaper states still have gas in the 3s. Arizona's a more expensive state for gasoline. And again, like I said, I don't see... I've got this little thing saved on my computer where they do live Strait of Hormuz shipping traffic, and they put it like it's like a 24-hour loop that shows you all the ships that go through the strait. Nothing's moving. Nothing. And if that continues, I don't see how we're not there, right? At the end of the week, if the ships aren't moving, the oil's not going to be there. And if the oil's not there, well, you guys know the story. I wonder how soon are we going to see. You know what, Jason? Maybe that's something we can ask your brother.
Yeah.
If the truckers are talking about this, I'm waiting to hear from UPS. I'm waiting to hear from FedEx, right? Are these guys going to start raising prices because of the cost of fuel? I think that's the next thing we're going to start seeing. It's Radio News Hour. We'll be back after the break. 800-951-0592. $10 Liberties, $26.50. Gold's just been hanging out at, that $5,000 range. U.S. Silver Eagles, big sale, $17.95 a roll. On February 27th, right? So what is that? 17, 18 days ago. $2,175 was a roll of U.S. Silver Eagle. So this is, you guys, this is it. These are the days, right, where you got to make sure that, hey, I add. Right? You just, hey, even if it's a roll or two, even if it's a couple of $10 pieces, you want to add when pricing is down, and then hope it goes down some more, right? So you can cost average. We'll see how long it lasts at 800-951-0592. I forgot to mention tomorrow we will do Text It tomorrow. I don't know if you've been paying attention. Got some more good news coming. Been a good week. We're over 20. It's kind of funny, it's only 20 cents, but over 20 cents, up 25% here in the last 7 days. We made a big jump with CoinMarketCap as far as being verified. Wait a minute, but we have a lawsuit against us. How can that be? Have you guys haven't figured it out yet? I hope you do. And of course, Iskander is now open as well. If you're having we got a lot of stuff to talk about tomorrow. Logging in, coins, all that stuff. We'll go through that tomorrow for everybody. And then, of course, after we get off the air, right, that's when Jason will hear from the Fed as to are they going to be cutting rate. And I don't know. It's kind of interesting because I don't think it matters because the guy that's at the head of the Fed isn't going to be there later this year. So I'm not sure if it's really going to matter a whole lot about anything Jay Powell says. I think Jay Powell will be very adamant that at least for the next 6 weeks that he's still there, don't expect any rate cuts coming from the Federal Reserve.
Sounds plausible. You don't think they're going to cut this week, huh?
I don't. Boy, think about that, though. What if they did? Of course, why would they? Well,
the markets are going down. That's why you do it.
Job markets aren't great. Wall Street, it's behaved. But Wall Street has been falling. Look at housing. We just talked about pending home sales. Literally at the very, very bottom. And that was a February number. We know March is probably going to be worse. And March is usually a good month for housing, right? The weather starts getting better and all of that stuff. Boy, that would be a wrinkle, wouldn't it? Now, is there something in the banking side that we don't know about? We've heard Jamie Dimon warn. We've heard pretty much everybody warning. Ray Dalio, Jeff Gundlach, right? Today, Morgan Stanley, about credit market problems. I guess if they're bad enough, we could, right? The Fed could possibly cut rates. Maybe is there a liquidity problem that would that they think a rate cut could possibly help with? All of those are good questions, really good questions. I think the other thing, though, unfortunately, this isn't going to be the quick war. And so the deficit, which has been well-behaved, is getting ready to not be well-behaved, right? I mean, this whole thing was set up. It was backloaded to the second half of this year. We're now like $60 billion away from $39 trillion. But it looks like we may, the question will be, are we going to hit $41 trillion before December? And the longer this war goes, the more likely we will.
Yeah, well, it's supposed to double every 10 years anyway, so it's not a surprise. Well, even without a war, it was going to climb out of control.
Touche, right? But I guess that could be a scenario where, okay. Some breaking news here. Looks like we're going to see some downgrades to pension funds. Okay. All right. So we'll keep our eye out for that now. So there is, here we go, these credit markets, right? They're all kind of bubbling here, flashing some warning signs. But I guess with all the increase in the debt, they could justify, well, we got to lower rates just to keep the deficit from getting even more expensive, right? Because if we fight it, could you imagine if they fought inflation and they actually started raising rates, what that would do, right? A 10-year note yielding 5, 6, 7%? Oh, yeah, I don't see it happen. Matter of fact, I still think we're going to see a 10-year note near 3% before the end of the year. That's how much money I think they're going to print. Patriot Radio News Hour, final segment coming up. Final segment here. $10 Liberties, $26.50. Rolls of U.S. Silver Eagles, $17.95. This quick here. The president is out again. This coalition of the willing, apparently no longer desired. Everybody that NATO pretty much has said no. The president today taking out to Truth Social, saying that he is not happy with NATO. First, countries like Spain, Germany, and Greece said they would not help. Today, France, South Korea, Japan, Australia, saying they're not going to help. I'm not surprised by their actions, however, because I always considered NATO, where we spend hundreds of billions of dollars per year protecting these same countries, to be a one-way street, meaning we protect them, but they will do nothing for us, in particular in a time of need. But because of the fact that we have such military success, we no longer need or desire the NATO countries' assistance. And apparently we never did. He put that in capitals. So, I don't know. He said he wanted their help and said they were going to help, but now says, forget it. Take that off the table. They did delay also the meeting with China that was supposed to occur at the end of the month, which tells me this war's going on for a while. But NATO's out. Trump says, never mind. Don't send your ships. Don't help us open the strait, Jason.
Well, we'll see what happens. Well, let's get. There's nothing else you can really say, but let's see what happens. But you can only report what happened, and then you can speculate all you want. But as far as it comes to the economic part of it, there has to be a war somewhere for that military budget. So we got one, and we'll see if this one's going to be the one that ends or if Ukraine will end. Here's the thing: if Ukraine ends, guys, this is long. This is going to go on for a while. Because they're going to have to replace this war with another one. And if that sounds funny to you, that's how military budget works. You can't pay something, an entity, that has no usefulness, right? Whether it's shipping a bunch of stuff to Afghanistan or shipping a bunch of stuff to Ukraine or actually bombing and doing the bombing in other countries, they have to justify the budget. So here we are, Strait of Hormuz and everything.
Yes. Well, there you go. Yep. He ended it very, very Trump-like. We don't need the help of anyone.
So why did he ask for it to begin with?
I don't know.
I think there's something's not going right in the leadership of America's military plan here. Something doesn't seem to be working too well right now. There's too many changes in the battle plan. Iran has been to their credit, they've pretty much been very consistent with everything that's been going on. So I do know that Iran's been having an unusually large amount of meetings with world leaders asking to get their ships through. So there's been that.
Right. You know what? Yeah, they have been, right? Everyone seems to be calling, hey, can you give us a pass?
It's like the homely kid in the back of the class became very popular suddenly.
800-951-0592.